I did not realize that that video about triploids was gonna stir up so much commotion amongst the community and so much doom and gloom and dare I say ignorance. I feel like a video that I put out there that I thought I dove deeper into should have explained a lot of stuff, but clearly there's some key missing components of the discussion that I may have left out. So in this video, I want to go over a couple of those things and really go over that subject. Is this whole triploid conversation just a cash grab and a way to stop us home growers from breeding, which I didn't realize so many of us are? Or is this just another tier of genetics similar to feminized or autoflowers? So let's discuss it.
Like we always do about this time.
This video is for educational purposes only, YouTube. Before we get into it, I want to give a big shout out to AC Infinity, able to check my pH and the ppms of this water very easily. Normally, since I'm in organic, I wouldn't really have to quite as much, but my tap water's coming out around 8.2 ballpark. So consistently, I'm having to dial it down just a little bit. And without having a quality pH meter like the one that AC Infinity put out, it'd be way harder to take care of. If you're looking to get a pH pen or any of their other amazing quality products, make sure you use discount code CLtv at checkout. Now let's get to this discussion. So with these triploids, I feel like it's kind of something that people were looking a little too much into, and maybe there's a little hype around it now. I don't know, maybe that's why there's videos coming out of people saying how negative it is, when those conversations were mentioned in the video I put out. So the argument of being sterile, well, yeah, in this case, when it comes to these genetics, they're gonna come and not seed on you. You won't be getting any seeds. Now, a lot of us don't like seeds. That's kind of a thing that we're not into. A lot of us aren't looking for bag seeds or are backyard breeders or basement breeders. But it seems like ever since this conversation was brought up, everybody is. And I respect that. I think it's really cool. It's a cool project to be able to be working on, don't get me wrong. But where I do kind of disagree is the fact that people feel like this is just a cash grab and it's the end of the road. Well, again, we have feminized seeds and we have autoflowers. Were those just cash grabs and ends of the road situations? The end of life of genetics? Again, with autoflowers, we're not going to be cloning those to be able to continue them going. But there is still a market for autoflowers. There's still people who prefer autoflowers, who don't have the ability to clone or who don't want to clone. Same with feminized genetics. There's always the argument of photoperiods versus feminized genetics. Well, people who don't have the space or the time to be able to go through and find males or females, they're oftentimes going to go after feminized genetics. Now, you and I may have our opinions or our beliefs on this, but the fact is, this is just another category in another tier for people to be able to have in their gardens. It may not be for you, it may not be for me, but overall, somebody out there may be after these. And now that doesn't mean that this couldn't be used like that. This couldn't just be employed a cash grab or to patent genetics, but the guys from Humboldt Seed Company specifically are doing this to avoid situations like that. Now, it's a similar situation like I mentioned with autoflowers. Now, when these hit the market, a lot of people were flipping out saying, you can't clone these, it's the end of life, and there's no seeds, and what's the point of doing this? Well, again, maybe it's for somebody else who's only able to grow a few plants and they want to be able to harvest these quick and can't have a perpetual garden, or they feel like this is going to be easier for them. Well, good for them. For anyone to be judging that just seems like sheer ignorance, in my opinion. I may want to use regular seeds because I'm looking for a male plant, but somebody else who's growing may not be wanting to look for a male at all. They just want feminized. So they may roll with feminized genetics. Whether you argue the stability isn't quite as good, that seems to be debatable and up for conversation. It seems that people want to dictate and control the way that others grow. Now, when it comes to a cash grab from big companies, if this was the logic that companies are just going to turn everything into triploids and then no one will be able to breed it, again, let's think about this. In the first video, I discussed it, how much more time and money it takes to be able to develop triploid cultivars. This isn't something you're going to be doing in your basement with your grow tents or in your backyard with your greenhouse. This is something that's going to be done at a larger scale, scientifically, or in a more controlled environment. So while this could happen, potentially, you're not going to be seeing something like Purple Frost Giant or Chilled OG that's going to turn into a triploid and you won't be able to access this. There's not going to be a company that's going to patent it and make it so that you can't continue to grow this at home. This is just an absolutely ridiculous conversation in my mind. But again, doom and gloom and negativity seems to get a lot of clicks and engagement, and maybe that's why some people put videos out like that or articles like that.
No bait, no clicks!
The ignorant topics amongst this community definitely come up, and I'm guilty of having them myself. But I do feel like when it comes to a new chapter in our industry or in our community, we should look into it more. We should look into things like triploids and tetraploids. We should look into things like modifying our diploids to have even better results. We should be thinking about commercial facilities, medical facilities, home grows, recreational. There's not just one size fits all. And I think that's really the biggest thing that grinds my gears, is that people are looking at this like it's a triploid takeover. or a triploid, again, however you want to say it. I just don't even think that's a logical argument. It's not feasible for most breeders to do, and it doesn't make sense for most breeders to do. And when it comes to cloning, I said it was more difficult in the video. It's able to be done. You can clone a plant. You think that cultivars like Mac 1 just somehow magically like replicate themselves?
It's magic.
Do you think it's just like a wizard who creates these triploids and then once it's done, they only have the magical potion to make it again? I'm just baffled by some of the comments. And again, even with some of my peers that have just put out doom and gloom videos without even showing the good and the bad, it really just stirs things up in the wrong way. And I feel like a proper conversation and a proper discussion is really what's needed in a lot of cases. Now, in this case, who knows? Who knows if these triploids are going to be good? But I'm going to check them out. I was against autoflowers forever, and then I finally grew some, and they were actually decent, and I was really surprised. So I've kind of kept them in my garden as just extra side grow. Doesn't mean I'm not growing photoperiods. Doesn't mean that I'm not growing regular seeds or feminized seeds. Now, when it boils down to it, I grow both. I grow all. I'm a passionate grower. I like herbs.
Weed is tight. Weed is tight.
I like to try different things out. I like to see what's out there. And the fact that people are knocking that, to me, well,
That's dumb.
and again, I just want to clarify, none of us who are promoting this are being paid to promote triploids. None of us are getting anything extra. Even the hunt discount code, I don't think they get any money for it. This is about the community and growing and passion. It's really upsetting when accusations come out or when people start throwing around ignorant things without any sort of substantial backings for these claims. And it's pretty frustrating, trust me. Some of us are just interested. Some of us are just passionate. And some of us just like the nuances of different things in the cultivation world. I think that's something that might be misconstrued and confused by a lot of people. Now, will Humboldt Seed Company do well by the community? I'm extremely confident they will. I've been talking with these guys for a while now, and the passion that they show is next level compared to a lot of breeders that I see. And the reach that they have and the influence they have makes it so they're the right people to be kind of doing something when it comes to these triploids. And that's why the group of us that you see online are backing a brand like this. Literally has nothing to do with dollars. It just makes sense. That conversation and narrative is absolutely stupid. Now, if you have no idea what I'm talking about for this whole video and have no clue what this whole triploid thing is about, check out this video up here. It'll explain a little bit better. And make sure you stay lifted. I gotta go water these plants. Some stash blend, baby. Peace.